Thought topic.
I'm sweating my penis off. I don't know if we're good to go. Are we good to go? Yeah. All right, we're good to go. I don't want to take out any of these goofy things.
No,
because
never.
This is our most true. For other people, I'm okay with a little snip.
Well,
but
you know
for us,
what?
it's like, let's just be stupid.
We started in the middle of our story. We were just here in season 2, hey, there's this fucking tall weirdo who's now on the show too, and it's who the
You are
fuck
not
is
a
this
tall
guy?
weirdo.
Whatever,
You're the love of
doesn't
my
matter.
life.
But
we'll get to that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Our
Okay.
first thought top. So today we are discussing in thought topic a couple different things. I didn't write down all of them just because we're going to go quickly through some of them. The first one I want to talk about is that breastfeeding model a couple weeks back. So we're bi-weekly, so we're a little bit behind on some of the hot topics.
That's okay. It's still a good topic.
But Mara Martin, I think is the right way to say it. She did a fashion show in Miami, and did you see the clips of this? We don't have the clips. It's illegal to get us the clips.
I saw a very quick little what is this, memes?
A meme.
Memes.
It's been 12 years and he doesn't know the name.
Okay,
meme.
well,
okay, I
yeah,
love you.
those.
I'm gonna make fun of you this whole episode, by the way. I hope it's.
Oh no, absolutely.
I
I expect it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sweating.
No, but it's
no
good.
more phase.
It's good.
Okay. Yes, a meme of it. What was somebody made a meme?
Yeah. It was
nasty.
No, but it was a Pat Pro Power.
Oh, okay. It wasn't okay. So it wasn't like a. Oh, I'm thinking a GIF or a GIF or whatever. Where she's like.
No, it was go on, sister, kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is if you don't know, there was this. Look her up, Mara Martin. She is a brand new mother, and she's also a model. And I guess the story is that the person that put on the fashion show, and I apologize, I don't know their name. So Mara was in the back, and right, a little bit before she went out, her baby was hungry. She's a brand new baby,
right?
Fresh out the womb style, and she just flipped out a titty and was breastfeeding. And I guess the person that runs the fashion show was like, oh, yeah. If you feel like it, if you're comfortable, feel free to do that out there. I'm not going to stop the feeding process for a baby. You're about to go out, and your baby's attached. And I don't have a kid, but I also know it's hard for a kid to latch on sometimes. So you never know.
That's true.
The kid's fucking hungry. You're feeding the kid.
So
she goes out. She's like, all right, I got a titty down. I got a baby on my titty. Whatever. It wasn't raunchy at all, and she just walked the runway. I thought it was beautiful. Personally, I thought it gave me a little chill, little goosies, as J-Lo would say. But how do you feel about that? Because obviously there was an uproar. Men were like, put your titty away. I only sexualize that thing.
Well, right. That's the only reason titties are a problem is because of men, right? Men are allowed to bare their chests all the time. It's not an issue.
Yeah, we don't want to see your nipples.
That stuff came up with Facebook, right? Facebook nuking breastfeeding photographs, which is I don't know where people think they come from and how they think they survive.
Right.
But
and not everybody gets breastfed or can breastfeed, but for the people that can and want to, celebrate it however you want, whether it's walking down the runway or walking through the grocery store. And that was sort of her point is this is a natural thing, and nourishing your child. That's why, not only did the model, but also the person running it, they were like, yeah, this is nourishment. This is exactly what a woman should be shown doing, Why
absolutely.
not?
The idea that it's offensive is offensive.
It wasn't a 32-year-old dude walking down the runway sucking breast milk out of her titty.
I'm sorry, we're in the
and that's hot too. That's just a different runway.
We're in the age where people love these beautiful pregnancy pictures because they're celebrating it
because secretly they like prego porn, and nobody's talking about how they're jerking off to the fact that Ava Angelina definitely did. Just kidding.
Well, no, but I mean to say that if this wasn't about men's twisted relationship with and the U.S.'s twisted relationship with nudity.
I was gonna say the U.S. because honestly, tits in the U.S. is it's calm down. You don't.
This shouldn't be a sexualized situation.
And even, you know what? I want people to sexualize my titties. A, it makes me money. And B, it gives me more satisfaction than anything in the world.
But they're multifunctioning.
But if I got pregnant and I had a baby sucking on it, it's there's a time and the place. Let the chap go away. This isn't an all the time thing after you have a baby. It's just for a little bit. That's when it's but either way, we sexualize tits in this way where it's it can only be, like you said, multifunctional. It can only be a sexual thing. No. you fucking sucked your mommy's titty, and nobody was
Yeah.
sexualizing that. Calm the fuck down. Think of it like that.
But I mean, the bigger picture is this is another a subject, another opportunity where like a man get like again like to exert their control over women in a way that's masquerading as, oh, this is an issue about like what is like considered offensive in public. No, this is an issue about you again making the rules about like what women are allowed to do with their bodies and using the most like awful like topic for it, like nourishment, life, like the exchange of all the like chemicals that help kids get like the antibodies they need to fight infection. Like what? Like, why are you sexualized? Why is this even a topic? It's like people
right,
take...
nobody's like, ooh, that formula you're feeding your baby is so sexual.
Right.
Don't do it with the nipple on the
Right.
end of the bottle in public. Like, nobody's sexualizing that.
It's like sexualizing the bathroom issue.
It's like sexualizing a
what?
fourth grader when she's eating a banana. She's just eating a fucking banana. Get over your weird shapes and
Yeah.
things, you know? It's
Yeah.
like butts are now the new tits and tits are no longer the ass. And like, it's
Absolutely.
we have a weird relationship, especially as Americans, with our bodies in general. And when we see nipples, it's like the end of the fucking world. I'm sorry, but a nipple looks no different on a woman than it does on a man. The only thing that's different is the fact that we can nourish a motherfucker and y'all can't. So let us show our motherfucking bodies off if we want. Bam, you wish. Pay for that shit. But you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
have to say. Sorry, we went on way too long about that. But the other thing I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
was Mar inspired. I like World of Dance. I don't care. I will talk about TV shows on this shit.
Okay.
World of Dance is dope. J-Lo does it with Neo and that Huff kid or whatever.
Oh, the little blonde pretty boy.
Yeah. He cute, whatever. He's a great dancer. And recently, I think 2 episodes ago, we saw a contemporary group of 2 men. It was Charles Fournier, I might be saying that wrong,
Fournier.
and Wyatt Rocker, and they're
That's a
in
name.
Mar
That's a
inspired if you
porn
want to
name.
find them. yeah, both of them.
Wyatt Yes.
Either way, you watched it too.
Yeah, I did.
Their
I did.
dance was beautiful. It was the first time I've ever seen on TV 2 men dance together, 2 openly gay men, in a sexual, provocative,
Yes.
and emotional
Right.
way. It was
Yeah.
if anything, it was more emotional than any of those other things.
Absolutely.
But like there was this underlying sexuality, and it was really cool, especially in the style they danced. Like we've seen
Absolutely.
obviously men dance together, like crumpin' and crunkin' and doing
Right,
like
right.
hip hop dance and street dance, but
Yeah.
obviously like to see usually see obviously a woman and a man, and to see on the main stage a man and a man, it was beautiful. And if you haven't seen it,
Yeah. No,
Get the tissues.
It's very good. I mean,
I cried.
so even in like terms of like what we've seen, like I feel like homoeroticism obviously has been in dance like forever, and that like even we've seen like kind of these like things that are like, oh, in an artsy way, this like homoeroticism is so palatable and whatever.
Well,
but,
I mean,
like,
the theater had men dressed as women for how long? You know what I mean? So it makes sense to have that crossover into the other artistic
All of that.
worlds. You know what I mean?
But like in a day and age where like the idea of like how do queers like fight for equality, was a lot of respectability politics and like we're just like you and like which I'm sorry made like sexuality a little devoid in there, like actual sexuality, like being sexual was like, okay, well, do gays have sex just like straight people? Well, not exactly, but like the narrative was like we had to figure out all the sameness, and that was very non-sexual. It was like, oh, it's cute when like queer people are romantic, but like I don't want to think
Yeah.
about them butt fucking.
Yeah.
And
And this dance brought like a different flavor. Like we did picture the sexual part and
Absolutely.
the relationship part and the emotional part
Absolutely.
and like all of the flavors of it, and it was
Absolutely.
really cool. I thought it was beautiful.
And I think that was good. And I think that these advances with like kind of like also non-normative sexuality in general, when we think of Janelle Monáe and like the kind of like things that are being put forth with this like like status quo identity and sense of romance and sense of sexuality, and like it's really exciting times. And I'm wondering like somehow if the stuff is advancing forward, because we are living in kind of dark days.
Well,
Like
I mean, it is like right there. Like J-Lo was like she cream pied for that shit.
Yeah,
was
she
like,
did.
This is
She was
the
like,
most beautiful thing
Yeah.
ever, and it's true.
Absolutely.
And to see, and then like you know, a straight presenting male. He was like, that was beautiful. It was great to see a different version of something we've seen before. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was very, and then they were like, it was perfect in its imperfection. Like,
Yeah.
it was definitely well received. And I think all you have to see sometimes is, you know, as far as America goes, all they have to see is that one person say, I put a stamp of approval on it.
Yeah.
And they then changed their mind. And I thought it was really big because it was a show that, while there definitely were, you know, in a dance world, you have gay dancers.
Absolutely.
There was no one that was like, yes, we're here and we're
Absolutely.
queer.
Absolutely.
What's good? So I thought it was a huge pivotal point for the show and also for the country to be able to see that on the main stage.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I think that is like an important point. Like when you also see how well received some of these like things that we didn't see in the past are, you're like, oh my goodness, like things have really advanced. I'm like, we can't talk about that without giving
Right.
some props to social movements, obviously, and like, you know, the way that they kind of like put the pressure on to like do better with representation, to do right with like our concept of like how everybody should be connected under this
Right.
like
And if you
broader
fuck
thing.
up and say, and you know, you say some shit that you maybe think is fun, you know, like we're going to hold you accountable. And that's
well,
what.
and again, this is a good point because we are talking just you and me. Like, we definitely like freestyle a lot, and like, you know, and this is important because like there's no situation where you can talk about these kind of intimate and important things without being ready to be called in. You know, I like to say called in. I like it, you know, just in terms of like called in. I may not have thought about something. I always use the example. I was at like a meeting once and like I said something about armchair activism, which is usually a term where like, you know, people are at home just supporting movements by like clicking things, which is like, you know, hey, you know, spread the word. This is a good thing. You know, the more you talk about what's going on, the better.
It
But-
serves its purpose,
Yeah.
but it's definitely one side of it, and
Right.
it's only a piece of the puzzle.
Well,
'Cause
then
without
somebody
the
called-
other pieces, you wouldn't have the whole thing.
Absolutely. And somebody called me out afterwards or called me in afterwards and said, hey, you know what? Like a lot of people can't go to like rallies and do direct action because they're like disabled or they have some like, you know, mental illness preventing them from like, you know, going out and interacting in the same way. But like, you know, they're supporting like movements in spirit. And all this to say that like these advances that we're seeing in the media are great. And right now it's really important because making any like strong and bold statements in terms of class and race and gender and sexuality are like acts of resistance right now in a climate that is very much like trying to like set the narrative to be against all of these things.
Absolutely. And all these little pieces, like, you know, I don't want to get into it, but like
Yeah.
the Whoopi clip, I'll just say that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see. Just Google Whoopi on The View, Janine, she pops off. It's,
Yeah,
oh my God.
nice.
But like just stuff like that, like the more we see people resisting, but also the more we see just like media resisting and saying,
Yeah.
hey, we're going to show something that maybe other judges in other places would have joked about or made fun of or been like,
Yeah.
no, that wasn't emotional. You
Yeah.
know, like we're going to do it. They do a good job of it. So props to that. Good job to those guys. They moved on to the next round.
Absolutely.
And it was just beautiful. It just
Yeah.
made me feel so good inside. So awesome job, guys.
Very
Do you have
nice.
anything else for Thought Topic?
I mean,
I think we're.
I think that covers it for now. Yeah.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, tune in next time for the next time we talk shit about. Yeah, and who cares if someone takes their titty out? Get over it.
Well, you know,
Breastfeeding or
actually,
not, get over
a
it.
really good like thing that I was reminded of is that like, you know, in the past we had like something similar to Thought Topic, and like I'm wondering if one of the clips like refers
Maybe.
to it, but I don't know.
We'll
Okay.
see. He doesn't know.
All
That's
right.
great.
I don't
All
actually
right,
know.
we're done here.
Okay.